You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the Artistic Director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode?
Hello and welcome back to Unstoppable Actors. If you're returning, so exciting to have you here. And if you've just stumbled across us on Spotify, as most people do, thank you for stumbling across us. I'm Louise, I'm the host, and I've got a really juicy topic to dive into today. We are going to be looking at how to approach sex scenes to feel comfortable and safe in your early career. However, I do believe that these lessons will carry you throughout the rest of your acting career. But I know for early career actors, new actors, unknown actors, it can be a little bit scary. It can be like, oh, should I be doing this? Will it help my career? Will it hinder my career? I've wanted to do a podcast on this for absolutely ages. So I planned it in to record it today, which is the 19th of February. And then really weirdly, this morning, a question came up from an actor in a group that I'm in, and they were asking exactly this about a sex scene. So I took it as a sign that this 1000% had to get recorded today. Even though I'd already planned to record it today, I was like, oh no, this is the universe showing me that this absolutely has to go out there. And I'm going to come at this from a few different angles because I want to load you up and allow you to make an informed decision where you feel reassured and confident, because that's really, really, really important when it comes to making decisions like this in your career. So I thought I would start by reading the actor's question out, who, by the way, posted this anonymously. So, and I wouldn't share the name anyway, just because, but they did post it anonymously. So, give me a second whilst I get this question up. So they said, hi, what's everyone's thoughts on female actors going nude or topless for low budget films? Is it a career spoiler these days, or does it not matter? I don't want to make the wrong decision about going for it and potentially messing up a future opportunity. I'm certainly not a named actress, far from it, so I haven't quite established a career in film just yet. And then she goes on to say, will getting the girls out help or hinder my chances of future work? Or am I being old-fashioned, even worrying about it these days? Thanks in advance. I thought, wow, like that's exactly what I wanted to approach when I was planning this podcast episode a few weeks ago. Now, before I share my answer to this, I want to offer you an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity. If you find this episode useful and previous episodes that you've listened to useful and you love what you hear, there are way more practical things you can do to take your acting career even further, quicker. And that includes character development classes. It includes audition classes that all use method acting to help you bring more truth, more depth to your work, so you look like the consummate professional, which is what I want for you. And you can look like the consummate professional even if you are relatively early on in your acting career. So these things are available for you at a low cost inside the Method Actor Circle. And exciting, we have got a casting director dropping by to see your work and to give you their perspective on your work from the casting POV. How exciting. So you've got until February the 29th to take advantage of this VIP welcome gift. The casting director dropping by will be happening in March, and we'll also be recording it and uploading it into the portal so you can keep referring back to the feedback, and you don't have to take tons of notes in the class. You can just be present what they're saying because you can watch it back as many times as you want, and you can use their feedback on your work to propel you forwards. And one thing you really need to know as an early career unknown new actor is that casting directors actually need you. They are looking for the talent that you have. You simply just have to develop it so they can see it. So that is why you would join the Method Actor Circle, to get on the radar of another casting director and to start developing that talent so they can see it in you. So go and take advantage of this by heading towards this link. I'm going to spell it out for you. It is bit.ly/the Method Actors Circle, all in lowercase, and you can get your hands on all of this. Or you can just click the link underneath the episode, whichever's easiest for you. So let's go back to sex scenes then. So I've already said I'm going to approach it from a number of different angles, and I want to approach it from a business POV, a place of empowerment, and also performance. So this is how I answered the actress's question in this group, and then I'm going to go into more detail with it. So I basically said, I think what's more important is A, how you feel about it. What's your intuition saying? And would you feel an integrity doing this? B, you need to be mindful that whatever you do is out there forever. C, are you going to feel exploited or comfortable and confident about this? Only you know what the answers are. And then I went on to say, my personal opinion is that I don't think you should worry about whether it will hinder you, as that's taking the power away from you. Any role or production could impact someone's career at some point. So bring the power back to yourself and ask, what do I need from my career right now to A, feel creatively fulfilled, B, work in alignment to what I value, and C, to work alongside what I've decided my brand is. And then I just said, I hope that helps. So let's break this down. You've been offered a role, or you could be offered a role in the future where you maybe need to get naked, you need to do a sex scene, something where you're going to feel a little bit exposed and vulnerable, because we do when it comes to our body, right? So the first thing is, how do you actually feel about your body? Because this is the thing that you live life with. This has got all of your experiences tucked away inside of it and all of your secrets, and you've got a relationship to your body, and it's either going to be a negative one, a positive one, or somewhere in the middle, a bit of both. So are you okay with your body being on screen for people to see forever? Because that's the thing about film work that you have to remember, is it's out there forever. It doesn't matter if it's a low budget film, it's a Hollywood film, it's a student film, whatever kind of film it is, that footage then exists forever. So are you okay with this? And as I asked you that question, what reaction came up in your body? Because that will be the answer. Now, if you do choose to go ahead and do this film because you think, do you know what, I feel okay about my body, I feel like it's going to be a creative challenge and I want to take that challenge, then this is what should happen. So I'm going to go through the sort of like boundaries and safety of it first, and then I'm going to explore the answer that I gave to this actress in more detail. So the first thing that should happen is you should have a closed set. Closed set means there's only going to be you and whatever actors are in that scene with you, the director, DOP, sound recordist. That's it. There's not everybody else hanging around everywhere to see what you're doing. I have done a sex scene in my acting career, and this is exactly what happened. It was treated with dignity and respect, and we had a closed set. It should also be choreographed to some degree as well, and that takes the sexiness out of it. But ultimately, you need some sort of nudity director, sex director. I know that sounds a bit strange, but you need someone who's going to work through this in a way with integrity, where we are creating art and we are not exploiting people. There should also be a contract, and in this contract, it should relate to this, how this is going to work, how this is going to be explored with dignity and respect to everyone involved. And it should reiterate this. And you, as the artist, now it doesn't matter if you're brand new to the acting industry or you're early in your career or you've been at this a while, you should be able to take the lead with this. This is your body. Your body is sacred. As I've already said, it's not just how it looks, it's your relationship to it. It's all the life experience you've got in there. It's very, very nuanced. If you are not able to take the lead with this and have a say, that for me is the ultimate red flag. And I would be saying, absolutely fucking not. Sorry, I know some of you don't like an F-bomb, but that's how serious it is. It deserves an F-bomb. Absolutely not. I wouldn't be doing it. So when I did a sex scene earlier on in my acting career, it was handled in that way, that there was a close set. It was handled with dignity, respect and integrity. And in fact, it was the least sexiest thing I've ever done in my life. The actor, I mean, I only worked with him that day, so I didn't have time to build up a relationship with him or anything. But I honestly feel like he was just as nervous as I was, but we were professionals and we just got on with it. There was nothing untoward about it. And the director was so sensitive towards this, and it was handled with a lot of care. And that's what you want. Now, let's just come to boundaries first, because boundaries are very, very important in this. It's very important that you know what your boundaries are. If you choose to do a sex scene and you say yes to it, you've got to write out what those boundaries are so they're clear and they're not just swirling in your head. And then you've got to be able to uphold them as well. So when I did this sex scene, I was in a long-term relationship at the time. So I took that person with me who also happened to be an actor. He, even though he was an actor, understandably wasn't very keen on this, and that's okay if your partners are not keen on it. It's totally okay. It's fine. We respect their boundaries as well. So he chose to stay away from the set, but was close enough in case I felt I needed him. And it is absolutely your right to be able to ask for a friend, family member, or partner, or someone that you trust to be on set with you, or at least be in close proximity of the set in case you feel you need someone close by who you can call upon really quickly. What I want to add to this is you have to get super, super, super clear on your boundaries. Get them out of your head and write them down somewhere, as I've already said, and do not let anyone make you feel like you're being difficult when you're upholding them. Do not be frightened. Just because you are early on in your acting career, just because you're a new actor, just because you don't have that much experience behind you compared to some other actors, you are not being difficult by upholding a boundary. That is your right to do that. You have a right. Do not ever let anybody tell you stories of like, oh, well, you're being difficult. This is going to massively affect your career. No, it will not. It absolutely will not, because the truth always comes out in the end. That's something I want you to get really clear on. And if your boundaries are not being respected, you also have a right to walk out of the production. It doesn't matter if people try and make you feel bad by saying, oh, you're going to be messing it up. Fuck that. This is your career. This is your body. This is your life. This is your integrity. These are your boundaries. So if one of your boundaries is that you ask for someone on set who you want there to make you feel safe, and let's say, for instance, it's agreed and then it's not okayed coming up towards the shooting of the scene, let's say the director or whoever changes their mind, you absolutely have a right to go, well, I'm not doing the scene then, because that was agreed, whether it's a verbal agreement or it's a written agreement. So please, 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 whatever level you are at, whatever level of experience you've got, know your boundaries and do not be frightened to uphold them. Let's move on to a craft perspective with this then, before I unpick what I said to the actress in my message. From a craft perspective, you need to build trust with the other actor. This is so important. Intimate scenes can be very scary for both parties and for all involved. However, do not let lines blur where you get on so well it starts becoming flirty and then, we're crossing each other's boundaries. You don't know whether that other person has got a partner at home, and we've got to be respectful towards things like that as well. There's lots of variables at play. I like to keep things professional, very, very professional. Even if I was single doing that scene, I absolutely would not have blurred lines because that's not being a professional. So build the trust with the other actor is the first thing. The second thing is you need to do relaxation beforehand to keep you grounded and focused, because sex scenes or nudity scenes do require a level of vulnerability that we're not always sharing in our work. It can create a lot of nerves, understandably. So we need to keep you focused, we need to keep you grounded, and the method acting exercises for these are the chair relaxation and step out before you even do the scene. So I would be saying do the chair relaxation at home before you set off, because that's a bit of a longer exercise, so before you set off to set. And then when you get to set, not too long before you do the scene, do step out and do it as many times as you want. I'd then encourage you to use the rampage exercise. So you can, because there's still, even with step out and the chair relaxation, there's still going to be a little bit of residual nervous energy, just because this is, a scene that's not really of the norm, is it? Let's be honest. Every scene that we do is not a sex scene. So it's quite unusual for us to do these. So use the rampage exercise to channel that nervous energy into focus, into knowing what the character's perspective is in the scene and what they're getting out of it. And these are what I go through with a fine-toothed comb inside the method actor circle, because I need our acting students to be in control, but especially in these situations. And then after the sex scene, end with a step out again to regulate your nervous system and reground you. And to be respectful to your scene partner too. Maybe thank them for being respectful towards you, because it's important that that trust then continues after the scene has ended as well. So that's how we go through things from the craft perspective and from a boundary perspective. And obviously I'd love to share these exercises that I mentioned with you and, you know, get you in the casting director VIP class as well, so you can ask their perspective on this too. Sorry, I just knocked a cup. I was drinking a hot chocolate before I recorded this, but I'm going to keep it in because it's a truthful moment, just like when things go wrong in scenes. So yeah, you can also get the casting director's perspective on sex scenes as well if you come and join the Method Actor Circle and get that VIP class that's happening in March, because they will give you their perspective, which will be different to mine. And both very valuable. And of course, if you head to that link that I gave you earlier, bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle, all in lowercase, or click the link underneath the episode, that will take you to there, and then you can join. And you'll also get access to loads of other pre-recorded classes that we've already done in the past, so you can actually start cracking on with these exercises straight away. So let's unpick what I said then to that actress in my response to her, because this is really important. Because I feel like when we're in the early stages of our career, sometimes we don't respect ourselves, not because we don't have respect for ourselves, but because we're frightened that, well, will it fuck up our career? Will it not? Will it do more damage in the long run? Will it be good for it now? We just don't know. We need assurance, don't we? So when I said to her, what's your intuition saying? And would you feel in integrity doing this? You have to, when you're presented with an opportunity like this, listen to your body, listen to your gut. That initial reaction that you get tells you what the answer is. And I can't tell you what that is because I'm not in your body. The second thing that I said is be mindful that whatever you do is out there forever, and it is. So you've got to ask yourself, like right now it might feel exciting, but in 10 years' time, is it going to be exciting when this resurfaces, when you're collecting your BAFTA or you're collecting your Emmy Award or whatever it is, you know, or you've worked your way up to that top agent in your country? Like in 10 years' time, is it going to feel as exciting then? Or are you going to look back on it and be a little bit embarrassed and a little bit ashamed? And of course, that's future projecting because we don't know where you'll be in 10 years' time, but do think with that in mind as well. And then the third thing I said is, are you going to feel exploited, or are you going to feel comfortable and confident about this? This is your body. Absolutely nobody on the planet has the right to access your body without your consent. I think you also have to do a bit of digging on the director. I think you have to do a bit of digging on the film production or the production company, because it might be stage work as well. You know, have they worked with integrity in the past? What have other actors said about how they work with them? Have other actors done nudity or sex scenes with them? What were their experiences? This is where you need to do your due diligence. And then the other thing I went on to say is, you know, I don't think you should worry about whether it'll hinder you because it's taking the power away from you. Like, you have to remember, you have the power in this position. This is your life. You make the choices you want to make. So what do you need from your career right now in this moment? Because I think it's so easy to want to take on every single role that's presented to us in the early stages of our career. But you have to ask, am I coming from a place of integrity, or am I coming from a place of fear because I'm scared that I'm not going to get any other acting work? And if you're honest with yourself and you're frightened that you're not going to get any other acting work, it's not the right reason to do the scene and to do the production. There's always jobs out there. There's always auditions. And then the other thing I've said is, you know, does it work in alignment to what you value? For some of you, you probably haven't even considered this. And for some of you, you have. So what do you value with your work? That's not something I can answer for you. You've got to find the answer yourself. I value respect. I value integrity. I value truth. I value sharing challenging, hard impacting stories. I obviously love comedy as well, but they're the things that I like. And I would have to ask myself, does the story fit in line with that and what my vision is for my acting career with where I am right now? And if the answer's no, I'm saying no, I'm not doing that. And I'm not frightened to say no, and neither should you be. And then I also mentioned that she should consider whether this film works alongside what she's decided her brand is. And that's a whole other topic of conversation. But what is your brand? You get to choose what that is. For me, in my brand, I don't do sex scenes that are not tasteful. And it has to be tasteful. because I don't want to open that can of worms, because it can be so easy then to get plonked into one category, and I don't want that. So if it's a hard impacting scene, like, I don't know, like I'm at the point in my career where I want to tell stories that really make people think about where they're at in their own lives. It's just a choice I've made. That's what my brand is now, because your brand is whatever you decide you want it to be. So if it's like quite a grotesque sex scene, or it's not very tasteful, I'm just not going to do it. But if it's something hard hitting, like maybe it's a rape scene, or maybe it's maybe I'm playing a character and they fall madly in love with someone, and it's, you know, the story of how it was love at first sight and then the relationship fell apart and the sex scene happens to be in that, then yeah, I probably would do it. But anything beyond those kind of parameters that I've set for myself, I'm going to say no. So what are your parameters? As always, I hope this has been useful for you. It is quite a big subject, this, and I probably haven't hit all angles with it, not every single angle that's available, but this is enough to get you going with this and to give you the confidence to say either yes or no, and to really think about these kind of opportunities. I'll say that loosely, when they're presented to you. And some are opportunities and some aren't. Some are absolute exploitation. So I hope it's been useful. Hope it's got your cogs turning. And of course, I'll just remind you again that that invite is open for you to come and join the Method Actors Circle. And I would love to see you in there, because I really want to coach you to actually become assured in yourself as an actor as well. I'll see you in the next episode.
I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.